Kris, just building on that, I mean, his journey has not been a straight line to get here. Can you just reflect on, or what are the lessons for maybe a young player, a guy who's not where he wants to be when you see Calvin Pickard starting Game 5 of the Stanley Cup Final?
Everyone's path is a little bit different, and as much as we'd like to get to the NHL and be a star right away, there's a lot of work, a lot of things have to go your way, and so often, I tell my players often, a lot of the times things, don't go your way. They're not in your favor, but sometimes it works out in your favor. Sometimes you're not playing well, and just because of circumstances, you get opportunities that maybe you didn't deserve. A lot of times, and players like to reflect on those times, is when you do deserve opportunities to play up and get more responsibilities, then they're not there. But over a course of a player's career, whether it's through minor hockey, junior hockey, pro, it usually works out that as long as you stick with it and if you do deserve it, things will work out. And maybe early in his career, I believe he had 50 starts in his first or second year in the league. Was he good enough to get those 50 starts? I don't know. I'm not in that position. And then, for him to go about 10 years without being in the NHL, was that fair? No, probably not. He probably deserved more starts and being in the NHL. And, fortunately for him, he stuck with it. He believed in himself. And it's paying off for him now. And it's paying off for us also.
Left side, fourth row.
Hey, Kris, I just had one more on the goaltending. You've talked about Stewart facing a barrage in the beginning of Game 4. You've talked about his numbers from Game 4 on the end of a series, how good they are. Was there, how much of a debate was there about going to Calvin versus Stu, or was it an easy call based on how Calvin played in Game 4?
No, it wasn't an easy call because we've got two good goaltenders. Stu has come in and played some really big games, especially later in the series. But I think the deciding factor for us was, we won the previous game, and Picks made a lot of big saves. So that was probably the deciding factor of, one, we did win, but how well he played for him to get the net again.
Right side, front row.
Let's switch to the forwards. Looks like Kapanen is out. You continue a bit of a rotation with guys getting everybody in. I guess I would ask you to confirm that if you could, and just your thoughts behind having these guys that seemingly can come in and out every second game.
Yeah, Victor, was pulled out and not in the lineup, but, was that fair? And we talked about, things are fair and not fair. But here's the, privilege I have is having a lot of good hockey players and being able to put them in the lineup. And, here we got a fresh guy who didn't play the previous game. Our team has traveled, and we feel that Victor's in a position to help us. And throughout the playoffs, he's played really well. And just because of circumstances, whether we needed more physicality or maybe more of a penalty kill guy or whatever it is, he was pulled out of the lineup. But Victor's an excellent hockey player, and we feel that he'll give us a good game tonight.
Take a few more. Right side, third row.
Confirming Stetcher stays in tonight?
Yes.
So what's the conversation or the dialogue like with a player that, clearly there was a mistake and he didn't play a whole lot after that. You don't want him playing, from the edge of a cliff, nervous to make mistakes tonight. So what's that dialogue and message like to a guy that didn't play a lot?
Stay true to yourself. Play your game. Don't change anything. All players make mistakes, and it wasn't much of a mistake. But, we had a lot of trust in Stetch. He's played a lot of good hockey for us, and whether he's been in the lineup not playing or in the lineup and not playing like he was the other night, we know his game is very dependable, and when we need him, he's able to give us quality minutes, and we're going to need that from him. And he doesn't need to change anything because overall his game has been very solid.
Right side, front row.
Kris, obviously there was a lot of peaks and valleys in the team's play within that last game. I mean, what would you most like them to take from that and, maybe have tonight be steadier?
Playing with urgency and winning battles for the pucks. I think that's the most important thing. Whether we're breaking the puck out or we're forechecking, there's been a lot of those type of plays, and it's not freewheeling. It's not up and down the ice, odd man rushes back and forth. It's not that type of series. For us, we just got to dig in and win a lot of those battles, and whether those are around the net, most of them are around the boards. And then when we do have the puck, just having the confidence of making plays. Whether it's a 5-foot pass or maybe we just have to clear the puck, but just making the right play.
Last one, right side, second row.
Kris, typically at this point in the series, you get an extra day of travel, a practice day. That obviously doesn't happen, but you guys are coming off of a comeback win, an emotional win, coming on a high. Does that carry because you don't have that extra day? Can you bring a little bit of that into the start tonight?
I don't think it has any factor. I think it's important that obviously that the importance of this game. Florida is going to want to come out strong, and we're going to have to be ready for it. But I think if you saw a pattern with the team, it would be an issue, either positive or negatively. Whether we won a game in overtime and then we came off the next game or 2 games playing poorly, or maybe if they lost the way they did in the past, how they've responded. So I think both teams have been pretty consistent no matter wins or losses. So I don't think there's any momentum or any pattern going into tonight.